Three aspects. There's spirituality,
Yeah.
there's music, and then there's also the professional aspect.
Yes.
Above all things, I think the spirituality governs the rest, because you can't help people if you haven't prayed.
Yeah.
You see, I often tell myself that before I go out there and help people, I should be spiritually fit myself.
Yeah.
I should pray myself. Even before I play, I should pray. So that actually teaches you that when working with people, you need to be someone who's disciplined and who's prayerful at all times. That's one thing I'd say helps me to balance all the things.
Yeah.
It helps me to schedule my plans. It helps me to plan out everything and be able to strike a balance in everything and excel.
Join us on Young Climber this coming Tuesday at 6:30 only on Eswatini TV.
Hello, and welcome back to Young Climber. We have certainly returned with yet another unique story right here in the kingdom of Eswatini. And today's episode, we talk to someone who has traveled as far as India to obtain his education. Joining us, we have Dr. Nshisekelo Simelane, who talks about obtaining his Doctor of Pharmacy and his MBA, and most importantly, his love for art and creativity. Dr. Simelane, welcome to Young Climber.
Thank you so much, Bella. Appreciate it. I'm truly honored to be here today.
This is going to be an exciting episode, rather, because, you know, earlier on we were talking about how decorated your career is, you know, kuthi umuntu longalaka pharmacy ufika njani ka music, but we'll discuss that in our conversation. Right now, we need to begin with your early life, you growing up here in the kingdom of Eswatini, because your roots definitely establish where you end up in life. So can we just talk about you growing up as a young boy?
Yeah, well, basically what defines me is church. Yeah, that's where I should start.
Yeah.
I'm a church boy, if that's okay. So I've been going to church my entire life.
Okay.
And that actually shaped my values a lot.
Yeah.
And considering how I went to Christian schools my entire life, from preschool until varsity, the only time I was at a non-Christian school was in India.
Okay.
But yeah, my entire lifehood was just church, was just ethics and discipline. So that's it with my childhood.
And maybe can you incorporate school? Maybe khona lobukela kolowaya esikolweni nawe lowaya kuso, you know, sesemncane, both primary and high school, of course.
Well, I've changed a couple of schools in primary. First, I went to a school called CPS.
Okay.
Don't know if it's still running, but it was.
CPS.
Have you heard of that?
No.
Yeah, I went to that school for my grade 1.
Okay.
And later on, Rise and Shine Pre and Primary School.
Okay.
Then I joined St. Michael's Primary. That's why I completed my primary level. From there, I joined St. Francis, and I did my entire high school there, from 1 to Form 5. So it's just been Christian schools, and eventually EMCU, Eswatini Medical Christian University. Yeah, that's why I did my bachelor's degree. Yeah.
But you know, we also need to talk about, before we get into the education part, especially the higher education part of your learning, like your tertiary, we need to talk about your love for music, because siyathi ukuthi sicala kuhlabela sasema assembly, maybe nawe ngila watibona khona ukuthi yathi I'm in love with music. Where did it start from for you? You know, ending up being a musical director and a keyboardist. Was it because of the church, because of the school, or was it a bit of both?
I'd say church. Church actually shaped who I am today.
Yeah.
Because in as much as I was grounded in church and the musical family,
Yeah.
I wasn't very much interested in music until I caught a bug at around Form 2. That time my brother had to leave the church. My brother is also a pianist, Ngozo. So he had to leave the church to go play somewhere else. And I was burdened now to play piano. So I was kind of forced into it.
Yeah.
But I fell in love with it so much as I went on. I think when I was about 16 years, that is when I fell in love with music. And I grew actually in music. I made a circle of musicians.
Yeah.
And we were just growing together. We got exposed to the music industry. And that's how we actually grew into actually music directing. Yeah.
Which is what I actually want to talk about, the part of musical directing. You have directed many musical projects. Can we talk about them and how, you know, they've influenced your leadership style? Because, you know, they also grow you nje personally as a person.
True. Yeah, music will teach you discipline.
Yeah.
That's one most important thing about music. It will teach you discipline and consistency.
Yeah.
So with that, I got to actually know that you need to be competent in whatever you do. You have to remain competent,
Yeah.
practice, and be disciplined. So working with different musicians and people who are continuously growing in their skill and their art, it teaches you to be on your feet all the time. So that's one thing I appreciate about music, because I was able to transfer those skills into my professional aspect of pharmacy and to remain competent at all times. Keep updating yourself, because the industry is evolving every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to stay up to date all the time.
And I think the most interesting part of you is that we did say that you're a very decorated person. So I'd like to know, you know, balancing faith, art, and science. How do you manage to integrate your spirituality and your love for music into healthcare, most importantly? Or how do you manage, you know, to make it all work together for good?
Well, as you mentioned, 3 aspects. There's spirituality, there's music, and then there's also the professional aspect.
Yes.
Above all things, I think the spirituality governs the rest, because you can't help people if you haven't prayed.
Yeah.
You see, I often tell myself that before I go out there and help people, I should be spiritually fit myself. I should pray myself. Even before I play, I should pray. So that actually teaches you that when working with people, you need to be someone who's disciplined and who's prayerful at all times. That's one thing I'd say helps me to balance all the things.
Yeah.
It helps me to schedule my plans. It helps me to plan out everything and be able to strike a balance in everything and excel. Yeah.
And, you know, speaking of balancing, I want to backtrack to the moment after St. Francis, the Form 5. I think that's where your science journey began. Tell us your education after applying for, you know, tertiary.
Yeah.
Was it your dream to head that direction, or did you have parents, you know, at the back of your head like, okay, well, you are not a medical doctor, but you know, some parents propel those certain dreams. Was that the direction that you wanted to head in, or it was propelled by my dad?
Good question.
And it just worked for you, of course.
Good question, interesting question. Because actually, in my high school, I was more into the commercial side.
Oh.
I was very good in commercials to the point that I'd dream of myself being an economist or an accountant. But looking at how the industry was, my dad advised me to go for sciences. And that's when I applied to different tertiary schools.
Okay.
But I did also apply for commerce at Waluseni.
Yeah.
But God works mysteriously. I
Yeah.
got admitted into pharmacy. I had never thought of myself being a pharmacist any time in my life. But I got admitted into pharmacy school.
Yeah.
And I actually grew love for pharmacy at that point. And that actually influenced me to go as far as furthering my studies in pharmacy.
Okay.
But you know, everything catches up with you. And business somehow has caught up with me because
Yeah.
I've now enrolled for an MBA and I finished it. So that is how everything came back to order. Yeah.
So
basically that is-
you've incorporated an entrepreneurial side of it, and you know, still pursuing you did pursue your Doctor of Pharmacy. This is such a powerful combination, and we also need to talk about, you know, the career opportunities that it has. Khona lo munye mhlambe lofisile kwenda the same thing that you did, atobona ukuthi emathuba ame, because you know, sometimes we feel like there's no opportunity in that field because maybe of the country that we're in. But you'll explain further as you go on with the conversation. Why did you pursue your MBA and of course your Doctor of Pharmacy? And obviously, can we talk about the application process and how you then managed to go study abroad?
Well, for PharmD, anyway, Doctor of Pharmacy is
Yes.
abbreviated as PharmD. For that program, I applied through ICCR. ICCR is called the Indian Council for Cultural Relations.
Okay.
It's a scholarship that's available to Eswatini and the rest of the world.
Okay.
So I applied through that scholarship and I actually got admission to Andhra University. So while doing my PharmD, I actually got to realize that, you know, being a pharmacist alone doesn't actually make me thrive in what I want to be. It's important to understand business.
Yeah.
It's very important to
Yeah.
understand business. And as I mentioned earlier, that in high school I was in love with commercials. And that's when I figured that, you know, it's actually best I enroll for an MBA course. And in my second year of my studies for the PharmD program, I enrolled for an MBA. That was a 2-year course.
Okay.
And it was a bit tricky because I was doing my second year this side and I'm doing an MBA this side.
We had to overwhelm.
Yo,
Yeah.
very demanding courses, very demanding courses. But the pharmacy space for me was a familiar space, so I was able to strike the balance, actually focus more on the business aspect because pharmacy wasn't that demanding anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did my MBA with the hope that at some point I'd go into the space of entrepreneurship
Okay.
and understand business management as a whole. That's why I chose the aspect of finance as my specialization for MBA.
Okay.
And we focused a lot on financial management and the like.
So your commercial dream kind of came back.
It's catching up with me.
It definitely
It's
caught up
catching
with you.
me, yeah.
But what we also, you know, like to talk about is obviously the challenges of, you know, pursuing an education, especially in a different country, you know, the culture shock, you know, you're in a different space. Also the education, maybe it's not quite what you expected or nothing like you've ever seen. What were some of the challenges that you experienced in, you know, pursuing both your PharmD and your MBA?
Well, in summary, my MBA was an online course.
Yes.
So I didn't have much of challenges there, regardless of having to balance both, but it wasn't much of a challenge because everything is online. You are sent books and lecture videos are there, they are uploaded. But the pharmacy side now, that was a challenge because the Doctor of Pharmacy program is a very rare course, even in Africa. Only a
It was my
handful.
first time hearing of it, actually.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Only a handful of countries have it actually here in Africa. So even there, Africans are not aware of the course.
Yeah.
I found myself as the only African student there. And it was very tricky because now sometimes they are used to teaching in the local language.
Oof.
And now they have to accommodate you. You are the first international student they have to deal with.
Yeah.
So those were the challenges I had, even during the rounds at the hospital. You know, normally people, they communicate in their local language.
You are using a phone to translate.
Everything
Ew.
I had. I used my phones, also my colleagues, they were very helpful, my
Yeah.
God. They were so helpful. They would interpret almost everything. But then the reading aspect, now you have to do that on your own because you'll miss out on a lot in class sometimes because they'll be using their local language and then you have to read.
Yeah.
You have to read thoroughly.
Do you know a bit of the language now? I'm sure.
Just a few words.
Just some words to get you by.
Yeah, just a few words. Those that you need to buy something
Like
from
Malini.
the market.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Anyways, you know, we'll dig deeper into your journey. But right now, we will be taking a short commercial break. When we return, we talk about your more professional life, the working life of the pharmaceutical, you know, industry. But that is only when we return. Hello and welcome back. If you just tuned in, you are tuned in to Young Climber, and in today's episode we've been exploring the pharmaceutical world, I can say, the world of music, and just a young man doing great things in the Kingdom of Eswatini. Now we talk about your professional journey, Nshisekelo, or Dr. Simelane rather.
That's right.
Can you talk about your professional journey, you working as a clinical pharmacist, a retail pharmacist, and a wholesale pharmacist? Those are three different, you know, job titles. But can you explain each role and the difference that it carries? I know it's all about pharmacy, but cela usichazele kabanzi ukuthi yini kuba clinical pharmacist, yini kuba retail pharmacist, and yini kuba wholesale pharmacist, before, you know, and so that we can understand how the whole pharmaceutical ecosystem works, really.
Yeah. Well, to basically define what you've asked, the different aspects of pharmacy, the three that I've done.
Yeah.
To summarize it, retail pharmacy is what we know, almost all of us. Mauya pharmacy, ufego cancer pharmacist, utaxid. So those ones, they are responsible for processing prescriptions, they do patient counseling.
Yeah.
They
And please
ensure-
take us back to the time where you were there and where it was.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I'll take you, I'll just join it along with my journey.
Okay.
Because as soon as I finished pharmacy school, I got a job as an intern at a pharmaceutical wholesale
Okay.
called Farm Industry.
Okay.
So I was there responsible for different aspects. I was being trained in almost all the aspects. And as a wholesale pharmacist, in as much as I was training, I got to see what their role is, what crucial role they play in the healthcare industry. Those people, they ensure that the medicines are kept at the right conditions, because some medicines are temperature sensitive. They ensure the integrity of the supply chain, and they play a very important role in ensuring that we have what we need in the country.
Okay.
Right? They supply government tenders and everything.
Okay.
So their role is very important. And from there, I was taken to a retail pharmacy. I was working at Link Pharmacy.
Okay.
It used to be at Mobeni by ShopRite at that time, but now it's at Spa
Yes.
by Mahala. So there, I got to work under a pharmacist who trained me in the various aspects and the roles of a pharmacist there. So we were doing a lot of dispensing, patient counseling, pharmacist-initiated therapy, and a lot of what we see as patients when we go to the pharmacy. That is what a retail pharmacist does. And then after that, that's when I left for India to do the PharmD. That is a specialized course which trains us in clinical pharmacy. So now a clinical pharmacist works at the bedside of the patient.
Okay.
That one is at the bedside of the patient. We ensure that patients receive the right doses, the right drugs.
Okay.
We ensure that any adverse reactions they have to the drugs are managed properly. We ensure that the medicines are not interacting. There's just so much being done there. So those are the different parts. A clinical pharmacist is mainly on the bedside of the patient.
Which actually makes me wonder if all the ones that we see in the clinics are actually, clinical pharmacists specially for that. Because now that you've mentioned the different roles,
Kuhlukene,
yeah.
kuhlukene.
But just hearing from you and hearing this specific journey, I can see that it's a very challenging one, which leads me to asking about the challenges in pharmacy, and especially at a professional level, as a young person.
Yeah, it's very challenging, especially for me. I'm not someone nomkhulu or whatever. So patients abanako lokuthi but yeah, we grow, we learn. Yeah, we learn to communicate so that patients get to trust you. The most challenging thing is building patient trust.
Yeah.
Right, because patients are not used to a pharmacist helping them. They just know what's So as a pharmacist, it's very challenging to convince patients that I've been trained enough to be able to help you. And in cases langa finyeleli khona, I will refer, of course, to a esibhedlela or wherever.
Yeah.
But those are the challenges we have, and people thinking that a pharmacy is just a shop where you come and buy anything you want. And yet those are drugs.
Yeah.
Those are drugs. Those are very dangerous chemicals.
Yeah.
So now as a pharmacist, you have to make sure you strike a balance in making your patient satisfied and also practicing ethically. Yeah, that is the most challenge we have. That's the biggest challenge we have there.
You're mentioning something, and your whole conversation or your response right there emphasizing on the excellence and integrity, and of course remaining ethical in the business. Like, why is it so important to remain ethical in the business of pharmacy? Because because some people do that, even
true.
in jobs, in any other industry. Those type of things. Why is it important to remain ethical in your job, wherever it may be?
So being ethical doesn't only speak to you as a pharmacist,
Yes.
but it also speaks to the business itself. You see, if that business is not practicing ethically, it jeopardizes their financial reputation. It jeopardizes their reputation amongst the patients and the clients they're dealing with. So if utatijwayeta ukuthi bamvu ubanika lapha kufunako all the time at the expense of ethical practicing, ngeke banithathe serious, uyayibona vele. So it's very important that as a pharmacist you strike that balance between professional practice and ethical practice also. It's very, very crucial in that sense.
And with that said, in your view, what role do you think pharmacists can play in shaping Eswatini's broader healthcare policy, and the delivery system, and helping it improve even?
Pharmacists are drug experts, so they can play a very crucial role in shaping the healthcare policy in Swaziland.
Yeah.
They can participate in different committees which formulate the treatment guidelines we use in Swaziland, because now treatment is using drugs and the drug specialists are the pharmacists. So with their extensive knowledge of the drugs, they can actually make very good contributions to guiding treatment guidelines, to guiding essential medicines lists, and even policy formulation as a whole. Because they do a lot of subjects which study how drugs are being used, and those things may help us shape the policies in the country.
Yeah.
Healthcare policies help us meet our targets in healthcare and the rest. Otherwise, I believe they can play a very huge role in shaping the healthcare industry in Swaziland.
And as Dr. Nshisekelo Simelane, how do you then, manage the workload of the business and the medicine, just to ensure that you also have personal balance, because, you are a spiritual person and you also need to give back to yourself?
I'd say scheduling. You have to schedule your plans.
Okay.
Right? I know, for instance, that exeni till this time, ngisemsebentini, and whatever comes which is outside of the professional pharmacy space will have to be scheduled after working hours, of course. So it's more of discipline and being organized as an individual, I would say. In as much as I do love music also, but you need to understand that I have a professional life and my schedule is like this. If we can't work with that, then there is no way we can be able to work.
Yeah.
So it's been a challenge actually, because even in my days as a student, I had to do that a lot, where I had to strike a balance between my life, spiritual life, my music life, and school eventually. But yeah, scheduling is one thing that helped me the most. I plan my things, I write them down, and it helps me to know what I'm supposed to do when.
Okay. And now looking ahead, how do you see yourself, branching into other fields like health policy, entrepreneurship, because, you are a business person at the end of the day. And also, you seem to be someone who is into the idea of pursuing education even further. So maybe even in that part, please. If we're looking into that part, what directions are you hoping to go into to better yourself, and of course the healthcare system lana ekhaya eSwatini?
Good question. What I'm looking forward to right now is growing as a professional, as a pharmacist, and growing as a business manager, if I may say, in very raw terms. Because what I understand is that at some point we can't be working all the time. We have to start building our own businesses. We have to venture into different aspects of pharmacy, because here in Swaziland there's still a lot of things that haven't been done in the pharmacy space. And I'm looking forward to actually venturing into entrepreneurship in those aspects of pharmacy. Yeah, so that's it mostly. That's why I'm even working with different individuals in different aspects, so I understand how the whole supply chain of pharmacy works, right? From the manufacturer to the patient's mouth.
All right. Yeah. The conversation could really go on, but unfortunately, in the interest of time, I'll allow you just to, give one sentence of encouragement to the young people of Eswatini who are watching this show and maybe are inspired by the work that you have done and are still doing. Into that camera.
Yes. What I can say, either you're in pharmacy or whatever field you are in, it's just consistency and God that is going to help you. I would say you are able to do everything. No one is capable of doing everything, but with God, nothing is impossible. Because in the Bible, if you ask of God, He will give you everything you ask for. So those are the two most important things. Discipline, of course, is consistency, and God. But put God first, right? That's my advice for everyone. Take everything you do seriously. Everything you do from high school to high school, primary, or take everything seriously, because you are going to need it at some point. Yeah.
It all counts in the end.
It all counts, right? Everything.
Thank you so much for the beautiful words, Dr. Nshisekelo Simelane, and thank you so much for making time to join us here on Young Climber. We do hope that your story will certainly inspire a young individual here, lana ekhaya eSwatini, and you'll be seeing a lot of doctor of pharmacies, in the kingdom of Eswatini. Thank you very much for joining us.
Appreciate it, Bella. Thank you.
All right, Tibabugile Makaya. That was, of course, Dr. Nshisekelo Simelane wrapping up the conversation today. We hope to see you again next week, Tuesday at 6:30, as we unpack another life story that we hope brings light to you at home. But unfortunately for today, we have to love you. We have to leave you. From myself, Tabelo Dlamini, and the rest of the team, it is good night and